Yo, hope everybody is going well. Today I thought I'd do a winter tips video, some lawn care tips for winter for you guys. I've had a few requests on what to do with your lawn in winter time, so let's do it. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip vid. So unfortunately it is winter time here, which is a bit of a bummer, to be honest. We had quite a big frost here this morning, and it's basically gonna be frost from here on out. Lawn's still holding some good colour, but the more frost we get, the more this thing's gonna go off. So winter tips are gonna depend on what type of grass you have. So here I've got a cool season grass, which goes well in cooler temps. Now when we get frost and continuous frosts and temps below 0 degrees, this will start to lose colour as well. If you had cool season grass somewhere in Queensland, something like that over winter, you'd find it would be growing actively all winter long and it wouldn't slow up from the frost because you don't get frosts, you lucky dogs. Now if you've got some warm season grass, that's going to be some cooch, Kikuyu, buffalo, zoysia, and you live in a cooler climate, good chance it's going to go dormant and go yellow basically through the winter time. So if you've got a grass type like that and you're in a cooler climate, honestly there's not much you can really do this time of year. You just let it go, put a pre-emergent down in early autumn, or you could do it now if you haven't already, to prevent wintergrass and other broadleaf weeds coming up in your lawn over the winter time. But that's really all you can do with those grass types. They go to sleep, you just let it be. Now if you've got a warm season grass in somewhere like Queensland, Cairns, somewhere where your grass is still going to be growing a little bit, there is a few options of things you can do through the winter time, especially if you're still mowing once a week, once every 2 weeks. It depends on what part of what climate you are. It really is going to depend, but you can continue mowing as a starter, and then stay away from your granular fertilizers and jump onto your liquids. Now it's going to be a similar concept with your cool season grasses in your colder climates as well. So I tend to treat them pretty similar, your warm season grasses and your cool season grasses in the winter time, depending on what climate you are. Hopefully you guys got that. Main reason we stay away from our granular ferts is because they're actually not going to be taken up by your lawn very effectively, because they're not going to break down because the soil temps aren't warm enough. It's just going to be a waste of product, to be honest. So liquid ferts are the way to go. Now let's talk about what sort of liquid ferts you can use depending on your grass type and your climate. This is going to get confusing because there's going to be a lot of information, but hopefully you guys grab something from this. Let's talk about cool season grasses in cooler climates like where I am in the Central West. If you're in somewhere like Melbourne or Victoria, South Australia, something like that, make sure you stick to your liquid ferts. So you can put some nitrogen down if you like to push a little bit of extra growth this time of year. Do not go crazy with it. I'd only apply it probably once a month. And what I like to do personally is put down my special mix once a month. So if you haven't seen my special mix video, which includes liquid iron and a liquid fert if you like, check that out. I'll put it up on the screen. I don't know where they go these days, they go somewhere. But I tend to stick to the special mix with liquid iron. So we're going to the shed. So when we're talking about liquid ferts, you could use something like the old Fertec Phosphiter, which you know guys know I've used in the past. Helped me with the onset of disease. Great way to build up the strength of your lawn with some potassium and slowly available phosphorus in there. That's one product. Now, I'm not trying to sell you guys these products. I'm just showing you what you can use because people have asked what you can use this time of year. So liquid ferts, anything with iron in it and a bit of nitrogen for your cool season grasses. And apart from that, I'd honestly just stick to liquid kelp. Now you can use sea salt from Bunnings. You don't have to get any of the things from Plant Doctor or from my website or anything like that. Feel free to use sea salt or something. You can also use that power feed from Bunnings as well if you like grabbing yourself Bunnings products. They're still going to work. Yeah, but I just like to use that special mix personally. That's really all I would be applying to your lawn if you have cool season grass. And as I spoke about in last week's video, keep your mowing up regularly. Obviously this time of year it's going to back off quite a bit, so I mowed this last Thursday. And since we've had a few frosts, it basically hasn't even grown at all. As you can see, she still looks pretty tight and tidy, and you can still even see the stripes in there from the other day, which goes to show this thing is not growing. So if you have warm season grass, as I said before, like the cooch, Kikuyu, buffalo and your zoysia, somewhere like Queensland, Cairns, some of it, or even over in WA, you might get a little bit more growth than we do here. You can still feed yours with a liquid feed as well. Now it's going to be a similar sort of concept, but I'd probably recommend that you back off on the nitrogen a bit, because it is going to be a little bit slower growing than your cool season grass is going to be. And just try to stick to your soil amendments if you can. Another thing that I actually really recommend you do, this is going to be in both, is use wetting agent this time of year. Believe it or not, wetting agent is going to be a great way to make sure your moisture content is high. It'll help the water sort of drop down into the soil instead of sitting on top, which can happen this time of year. Your soil can still get hydrophobic. Many years I've made the mistake of not watering my lawn in winter because I thought it was too cold when we didn't have much water because we're still in drought. So you still need to water your lawn in winter if we're not getting rain, believe it or not. Apart from that though, I don't really think there's much else you can do with your lawn. Obviously keep up the regular mowing, as I said. If you're in a warmer climate as well, you might want to think about oversowing with something like, with your cooch with possibly some ryegrass like what we've got here. If you're in Queensland, you can even do it if you're in my sort of climate as well. If you've got something like my Tiff-Tuff out the front and it goes brown in the winter, you can oversow it if you like, which is a great way to keep up your lawn mowing if you love it in the winter time. Yeah, and then you just basically treat it like a cool season grass. Now if you're in somewhere like Queensland and you've got cool season grass for the winter, you can treat it like it's a little bit warmer, so you can actually use granular fertilizer to give it a bit of an extra kick, and you can still use your liquids. But yeah, that's the fun thing about it. Make sure you spray it out before spring starts. So in August, I'd recommend you do it with something like Tribute, just so you can get it out of your lawn, so your cooch can come back in the springtime and not have big bare patches in it. Because believe it or not, ryegrass can actually kill off your cooch, which sounds weird, but it does. That's what happened to my Tiff-Tuff out the front. So there is one question I get a lot over winter time as well, is should I raise my height of cut up during winter time to help the sun, well, the grass photosynthesize a bit more from the sun to catch a little bit more sunlight. Now, honestly, I haven't found a huge difference doing this, but my climate is a little bit different as well. I mean, if you've got shadier areas, there is a chance that it will go a little bit better if you do cut it a little bit taller, and there's more chance for catching sunlight because there's more leaf surface for the actual lawn to catch some sun, but it's not going to make a significant difference. Go ahead and do it if you like, why not, give it a try. It will hold more colour anyway. The longer your lawn is, it always is going to hold more colour. The shorter you cut it, the more it's going to lose colour as well. That's where you find golf greens, unless they're putting turf paint on them or they're putting high doses of liquid iron on them, don't hold colour as much, and they don't stripe up as easily as well if you're into your stripes. But yeah, that's about all I've got for winter tips. There's not a lot we can do in winter, as you can imagine. Obviously you can do your weed spraying as well, so if you get some broadleaf weeds coming up, feel free to spray them. It will take a little bit longer for them to get knocked down because the soil temps are colder and the weeds aren't actively growing. It will take like 2-3 weeks for them to actually die off, so just be aware of that. And also, if you've got winter grass in your lawn, which I have got a couple of chunks of it here and there, as you can see just here, if you're wanting to use something like Powercheck or that winter grass killer from Bunnings, which is the same active endothol, don't spray it when you've got frost around because it will burn your lawn. So I actually can't do that this time of year. Instead, get your Pre-Emergent down if you haven't already. Unfortunately, I can't put Pre-Emergent down on this because I only seeded a couple of months ago, and you want to leave it for at least 6 months before you get your Pre-Emergent down. Anyway, hopefully you guys learned something from that. If you've got any other questions, chuck them down in the comments below and I will try to get back to them as soon as I can. But yeah, I think today, since it's a nice day and I haven't put any liquid iron out for a little bit, I'm gonna put some liquid iron down with some liquid kelp. Might do the special mix today. Let's mix it up, get it down. I'm going to avoid the fences and the shed and the house as much as I can after putting that boar stain stuff on the fences and stuff. Anyway, let's do it. Alright, so hopefully you guys got something from that video. If you need any more tips, please let me know. Very happy to help out. And I think I forgot to mention that the reason I like putting liquid iron down, and liquid iron by itself as in without any nitrogen in it, is because it's not going to push growth, which we don't really need this time of year, and it's not going to push too much growth. Unless I find the lawn looks a little bit hungry, then I put some nitrogen down. But I really like to just do a sole iron product with that kelp and with that humic acid as well. Just to really keep the lawn kicking along. And iron actually does help retain a little bit of heat in the leaf, and I found every year that I put liquid iron out, the lawn does hold a lot more colour than it does if I don't put it down. If your grass is brown though, liquid iron's going to do nothing at all, so you might want to paint it. Or oversow with some rye. Anyway, thanks guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video if you enjoyed it or you learned something, and you guys have a good week.